All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all for being patient, and thank you for joining this Concentris webinar reviewing the introduction to NetSuite ERP dashboards and financials. Very quickly to go over the agenda, I'm going to be giving myself a brief introduction, followed by some housekeeping items. Then I'm going to be getting into NetSuite and showing you a demo for dashboards and financials and some other tricks and tools regarding financials in NetSuite that I consider important. After that, we'll be followed by some Q&A and then NetSuite Cloud ERP, about the NetSuite Cloud ERP and specifically about us and Concentris. To give myself a brief introduction, my name is Andre Tardio. I'm a senior NetSuite consultant here in the ERP practice for Concentris. I have 5 years experience in the ERP space, specifically in NetSuite, and I would consider my expertise would be in NetSuite financial and transactional processes. Just your everyday NetSuite life, core processes, customizations, any type of edits or functional processes that you might need in NetSuite. I would consider that my expertise. I would follow that with my hands-on implementations and customizations and optimizations in NetSuite are part of my everyday job and day-to-day life. A little bit more about me that's not on this demo, just to give a little deeper into my brief introduction is I live in Dallas, Texas, but I was born and raised in Santa Cruz, Bolivia. And I'm a proud Baylor alumni. I went to and graduated with my BBA in business administration, management and marketing. And I love to be outside, and my hobbies I would consider playing tennis, pickleball, and golf. All right, so now we're going to get into the housekeeping items here. For any attendees, we hope that you've received your $35 Grubhub lunch credit from Concentris. The lunch credit, keep in mind, is only available for 24 hours. If you haven't received your lunch credit, please type it in the chat, and we will make sure that that gets to you after this meeting. You can submit any questions at any point during the webinar. Please use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. Keep in mind that all attendees will be muted during the webinar. The webinar will be recorded, so if you have any questions about anything, please contact me. And if you'd like a copy of the recording, please contact me and we can get that sent out to you. In case you did not get an answer on your question during the live session, we will surely follow up and get back to you via email. Okay, so for the demo topics here, we're going to be reviewing the NetSuite platform and navigation, followed by some dashboard, financials, and then some best practices about financials and getting started. All right, so let me get out of this presentation for a brief second and open up my NetSuite. 1 second, please. Okay. Okay, you should be seeing my NetSuite page now. If you're not seeing this, please chat, let me know, and I'll fix that as soon as possible. But for now, I am in the NetSuite environment, and I want to start out here by showing you that this is a demo environment for Financials First. So you can see here that the name is Carol Morgan. And I want to review this part with you that I am currently going to be acting as the controller here. There are many roles here. Just to give a quick debrief about the roles, one employee can have multiple roles. For example, I right now have access to the controller role, the executive role, AR/AP analyst. And each one of these roles comes with a specific set of permissions, um, permissions, restrictions, access. Some of these roles can only see certain transactions, or they can only see the transactions and not edit them or not be able to delete them. So each of these roles have different permissions and restrictions. It's very nice that NetSuite does that. A lot of clients enjoy this and enjoy this feature because it's very convenient for when you are having to divvy up duties and who can do what and who can see what. So the roles are very important for that. Right now I'll be in the controller role. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. So just another thing I want to go over is these tiles here. The dashboard presence, this is what you would call your dashboard. To get to the dashboard, you can always click on this home button right here and navigate to your dashboard. And there are many things that are unique about this dashboard. I'm going to be getting into some of them. Before I do that, we can get to shortcuts here. For example, right here, we can, this little star favorite shortcuts, we can add pages to the shortcut so that as you can easily access your dashboard, you can also easily access your shortcuts. Here are your recent records. So if you were once on pages before, you can quickly access the page that you left by your recent records, and it will pull up right there. Now to get into the reminders are a very neat feature here. You can customize these reminders by setting them up. Right here, you can see that for the controller, we have a lot of current selections like periods to close, bills to pay, memorize transactions, new vendors, new customers, bills to approve, etc. Bills to approve is going to be coming in very handy if you have some sort of procurement workflow for approvals. For example, you might have a procurement associate put in a purchase order and it needs to be approved before it gets received, and then once it's received, it needs to be billed and approved again. So if you ever have bills to approve or that type of approval process, this can be very helpful. Keep in mind that these reminders are all safe searches, so we can custom make your reminders portlet. If you need to see something, I know a lot of times employees want to see bills approved just for them, or bills to approve for them within a certain date range or within a certain monetary amount. And we can custom make that for you here under your reminders so that you can log in and see, oh, hey, I've got 10, 15 bills to approve or invoices to approve or whatever it may be here. The reminders is very flexible, as with save searches, we can create them and put them in here easily. Going forward, or to go onward with the webinar here, with the tiles and portlets, these are what you call portlets right here. For example, we can move these around. If I need to move this to the left over here, you can. I like this to be my main point of view, so I'm going to move it back. We have KPI meters, navigation shortcuts. So as the controller, I can easily access my segments by clicking on classes, locations, departments, chart of accounts, and we can actually start there. So let me open this up. You'll see I'm going to open this in a new page. Excuse me 1 second as my Zoom bar is in the way. Okay. So now I'm able to see my classes here. And this is very important. A lot of times customers will have very many segmentations, such as classes, departments, etc. If you need to access them in any other manner, you can go to financial list, and here you can see your departments, classes, and locations. So here are our list of classes. You can dive into each of them, edit them. It's a very simple form. You're just going to have your name if it's a parent class, if it's tied to the subsidiary, and whether you want to include the children of the subsidiary. And that's it. So to go in a little bit more detail about the departments here, you're going to find our list of departments. Similar to the class, the form is the same. You just see if you have parent-child departments, which in this case, in this example, we do not. We have about 10 departments here, all separate from each other, and they're all tied to subsidiaries. And to look at our subsidiary structure, we can quickly go, let's see where is it? Here. Let me go find it in our navigation shortcut group. Oh, I apologize. Actually, as the controller, I forgot that I'm in the controller role and I don't have access to the subsidiaries. I can easily create that. Let me see if it's just hidden in the forms really quickly. Oh, here we go. Subsidiaries. Okay. So it was under setup here, other setup, and then subsidiaries are going to be down here. So you can see that our subsidiary structure is that of parent and child. We have a parent consolidated subsidiary here, and followed by our subsidiaries of Australia, Canada, UK, and United States that are all rolling up to the consolidated parent level. One of the best practices in NetSuite that I found is I like to encourage customers to keep this parent consolidated subsidiary, because if you ever need to restructure your subsidiaries, for example, say you get acquired, or you acquire another company and you need to restructure and shuffle the subsidiary structure, it's very easy to do so when you have a parent consolidated subsidiary up here at top. Granted, this used to be enforced pretty strictly when I first started in NetSuite, but now it's leaned up a little because, or it's become a little bit more lenient because there's now settings to where you don't exactly need a parent consolidation to shuffle and restructure your subsidiaries. They fixed that since 5-6 years ago, but it does make it easier. It makes it good for reporting, and I recommend doing it. I like it. It feels safer to have a parent consolidated subsidiary and have your other subsidiaries below, but you certainly don't need to. To dive a little bit closer into your subsidiaries, I'll look at the United States subsidiary form. You can see that we can put in logos in the subsidiaries. It is the parent subsidiary is our parent consolidated subsidiary you saw earlier. You would tie it to state, country. You could see your address here, etc. And this is nice because if you have a subsidiary form and you're printing out PDFs from transactions tied to a specific subsidiary, you can see the logo from the subsidiary and not the overall company. So that's a little bit of the reasoning behind the forms and pages, etc. Okay, so let's go back to our dashboard here. That's a little in the controller role. To tie it all together, you can easily access all this stuff in your segments by going classes, locations, departments, chart of accounts. Locations are the same thing. I'm not sure if I covered locations yet. We have 5 locations here, and location, you'll see that this form is going to look a little bit different. It's going to have more detail, as locations are primarily meant in the system, not just as a form of segmentation, but to dive deeper into your inventory and to store your inventory, count your inventory, and be able to receive and fulfill from a location. So that's the primary use of our location segment here. Of course, locations are very handy for reporting on inventory, and sometimes, depending on settings that you might have configured, are mandatory in forms. All right. Let's go back to the dashboard here. So I reviewed the navigation shortcut group. Keep in mind that this is going to change for each role here. Each role is going to have their own specific set of dashboards with different shortcuts, different tiles that tie into that dashboard a little bit better. We also have some KPIs here that we could discuss. So here we have a KPI for payables. We have sales this month versus last month, and payables end of last month, or end of this month, end of last month, etc. We can custom make these KPIs. We can add another one. We could personalize it and put in another KPI meter here if you'd like. Right now we already have one, so I'm not going to do that, but you can have multiple KPIs. And what's really neat and a value add to NetSuite in specific is from your dashboard and from your reports, from your KPIs, you can come in and actually dive into this. So for example, let me go to end of this month. I can click on it and it's going to take me directly to this report. And I'm going to be able to see my inventory valuation summary. Here you can see my item, the description, the inventory value, percent of inventory value, and my on-hand inventory. So this is very neat. To go a little bit further into that, I have navigated from my dashboard straight to this report by clicking on it. And now if I want to dive deeper into this item, I see, oh, hey, I have 60 on hand of here. I want to check this out in a little bit more detail. I can open this up in a new tab. And boom, I'm into my item. And so I won't spend too much time on this item and forms as that would take a long time. But here I'll give you a brief overview. You can see that this is the inventory item with the display name, the vendor name. It's tied to the parent and includes all subsidiaries and includes all children, which means all subsidiaries can access and transact with this item, which is very important because if you don't click this button and it's tied to the parent subsidiary, all of a sudden, no user under any subsidiary except the parent will be able to transact with it, which is oftentimes a problem. A lot of times customers come to me and say, oh no, this person is in this role and they can't put this item in their sales order and in our invoice. And a lot of the times it's a subsidiary issue. It might not be tied to the correct subsidiary. Maybe for a hypothetical example, this item might be tied to the United States subsidiary, but the employee that's wanting to transact with it is actually tied to the Australia subsidiary. And if it doesn't include both of them, then they're not going to be able to see each other. The employee in their role won't be able to see this item. So if you do have system subsidiary wide items, make sure that you're including this children box. To go a little bit further, I can scroll down here to my locations and now I can see, hey, here's my quantity. I've got 37 and 23. So my report indicates that I have 60 on hand and that is accurate. Just to dive a little bit deeper into where you're seeing your quantity, your quantity committed, quantity on order. You can dive deep into the items here and there's a lot of functionality just within the items. I want to show this item 360 tab as well. Here, this is a really neat tab. All the records will have them. For example, a customer will have a customer 360 and a vendor will have a vendor 360 as well. And this is going to dive deep metrics into, once again, it's showing me quantity on hand, how many we have on a sales order, how many we have on a purchase order. It'll even tell you sales from 3 months ago, from last month, average cost, etc. You can look at your three-way match if you have that enabled. Historical item sales. Apologies for I'm in a demo environment, so sometimes it loads a little bit slowly. You should not be expecting that type of. You should be expecting a quicker load time in your environment in NetSuite. So here you can see the three-way match functionality. There's a lot to look at with the item 360. If you ever have any questions about your item or want to see more information on it, this is the place to go. So anyway, you can see how I got to that item just very quickly from clicking on it on the report here. A little bit more about reports that I'd like to go over. Here, you can do your as of date. You can have it end of this month. There's a lot of functionality between day, quarter, week, month. So right now, because we click on end of this month, we have it as of date 12/31. Now we can look at our subsidiaries. If we want to tie into just United States, we can refresh here. And that's just going to give us the inventory of just the context in the United States. Here, when I click more, I can also pick a location. So I can use my segments here to report. Let's say I want to do US 1. Now I'm going to be seeing everything in my United States subsidiary and my location US 1. So I'm going to go back to all here and it'll put them all back. Another functionality we have here specifically on our inventory valuation summary is I can click on the view detail. And now it's going to dive even deeper into the item. For example, this is my inventory item. Now I'm going to be able to see each specific transaction. that is playing into our quantity count. So here you can see how many we have, how many we've got sold or are not with us anymore, all the positives and negatives exactly with each item fulfillment and each item receipt of this item that's going to total our 50 up here. So that's a very neat process that customers like, because now, just like I dove into the item earlier, now I can actually go into the item receipt, and I'm going to be able to see here. Well, let's actually do this item fulfillment. And I can go into the item fulfillment directly from my report, and it's going to show me exactly what I'm seeing there, that I should have fulfilled a quantity of 2. Here we go. We have 3 items for quantity of 2 in this fulfillment. Something else that is very important for controllers and accounting, anyone from the accounting team in any accounting role, is each transaction, in this case item fulfillment, you're going to be able to see its GL impact, which is very important. If it doesn't show up here in your sub tabs, you can see it down here in actions and GL impact, and it's going to show you in a separate page of itself if you want to take a screenshot, email it, etc. You can export it to Excel, export it to CSV, print it, whatever you might want to do, but it's going to give you a breakdown of each line and each account that it's hitting. And you can see here that it is posting, which means it does have a GL impact. Sales orders and purchase orders will not be posting because they're not directly hitting your GL yet. Once it's fulfilled, once the sales order is fulfilled and the purchase order is received, then it will impact your general ledger. So now I can return to my item fulfillment here. I can see that I have everything that I was looking for. I wanted to see the quantity that I received from my report, and I can go back to my inventory valuation. Something else that I wanted to show you here with our reports is that you have a lot of options here. For example, if you wanted to see this report in grid, if you have an Excel mind and you like to see it similar to Excel or grid format, you can see that here. You can also display a title. So if you wanted to print this report and you wanted a nice title here, you can have the title displayed. You could drill down, show the drill down balloons if you can have them here, or you can hide these or show them. I'm going to go back to my regular plain view and not display my title. I'm used to seeing it this way. But here, for example, here you can collapse and expand, and you can export this. You can export this inventory valuation detail report to Excel, PDF, CSV, Microsoft Word. You can print it. You can actually email it. So if you have an employee tied to your NetSuite, a user, you can select their email, or you can just copy others and put in any email that you want here. You can include a brief message, and then the email is going to show up as an attachment here. You can also schedule an email. So if you want to schedule this report to be sent to employees, say every Monday at 7 a.m. before your Monday 8 a.m. meeting, and they need to see this, you can include recipients here. You can select a start time, and it's going to send it to you. However many recipients, say you have an inventory team of 10, and every Monday you meet at 9 a.m. Well, you can select 7 a.m. to send it to everyone, or even the Sunday the night before, and it will automatically send weekly, daily, however you want to set it up. So that's a very neat process that or feature that the reporting functionality has here in NetSuite as well. Let me go back to the home here, and I actually wanted to include showing a custom report here and how we can include it in our dashboard and how we can see it in our dashboard and also include it in our favorites. So I'm going to do a sales report here. Let me pull one up. Let's do reports. Also, if you're wondering, we have all these reports here, and I can navigate over the top here of this tab. I can see billing, sales, transactions, customers, and everything you need to see on customers. But on the reports, I'm going to go to reports overview. And now here, if you want to see all of the reports that NetSuite has to offer, you can expand. And these are all different reports that NetSuite readily has available for you to pull from. I'm going to look for, let's collapse all. I want to see within my sales. Okay, and I'm going to do sales by customer. So here we go. Let me do, you can see I have sales by customer all the way to 12 years here. If I want to see my detail, I can expand this. Something else, you can do it by subsidiary. I'm not going to do that right now. But I wanted to show you all how to custom make a report. So right now I'm going to customize this. And we're doing sales by customer. Let me change the name. So I'm just going to put in my initials here, sales by customer with email. So I'm going to add an email here. So I'm going to go to, excuse me, sorry. I'm going to drop down on my customer project. I'm going to find my email. And I'm going to include the email here. Let's say I want it to be right next to the customer job. So I'm going to move it. Let's see where, oh, here, let me just move it to the left, move it to the left. The drag and drop didn't quite work for me there, but that's okay. Here we have our email. And now for filters, you can, and sorry, let me go back to columns. You can add a lot of columns here. You can delete columns if you don't like one of these. For example, if you don't want to see the memo, all you have to do is click remove column. You can change its labeling to display, whatever you might want to edit here in terms of adding and removing columns and customizing the label you can do. For filters, I'm just going to quickly review this. You can see that we have filters for date and subsidiary. So I'll show you those once we run the report, that you can filter by date and subsidiary, as you saw that I already did. You can add more filters if you'd like. You can add classes, locations, whatever other filters that you'd like to see, you can add them here. I'll skip over this part for now, and I'll go to sorting. And here, let me include email in my sorting. So I have my customer email, and let's say I want to actually sort by my email first, and then if after that we can go through name and date, etc. And on the more options here, I'm going to quickly review this, as this would take a while to review everything. I wanted to show you down here at the you can choose which roles, departments, and employees might have access to this report. So if I want to lock this report up for only my controller role to see, I can pick my controller role or the CEO role, whichever role here. If I want to dive deeper into that and say it might not matter the role, but only my United States subsidiary people can see it, I can also go into here, click subsidiary. Or if I want to dive even deeper than that, I might make a report just for 2 employees, right? So I might make it for Abby and Ann here. And only these 2 employees, when they log into NetSuite, are going to be able to see the report. So I'm not going to do that for now. Click that. I'm going to include all roles here. And so now I'm going to save. And here, now you can see that I have my sales by customer with my email. So I have my customer here, the transaction type, and the email associated. So here I've custom made this. I've added it to where it wasn't shown before. And what I really wanted to show you here is how I can add this to my dashboard. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my dashboard right here. I'm going to refresh this page. And if I want to add a report here, I'm going to go to personalize. Let's see. One second, let me look for something here. Wait. So first things first, I forgot. I wanted to take this report and I wanted to add it to my shortcuts. So I want to do that right here. So now when I go to the home and I refresh the page, I can add it to my shortcuts. And if I want to include it here, I did it by search. Let me quickly, I know the, excuse me one second while I think this through. I know I've done this before. Okay, so I can follow up with any questions about adding the report here. I can add it to the dashboard. It's not coming up right now, but I do have a custom search that I can add to the dashboard. I've already created a custom search here. So I can go to setup, find my search. And here I've created a custom search for invoices using tax. And let me make this drill down to 15 and click save. So now I've included a custom search, and a custom safe search is basically a custom report. In this example, I have a customer that actually requested this, so I thought it'd be a good example to put in here. And I just did a quick version of it. But my customer wanted to see all invoices that are using tax so that they could find the invoices using tax and report on sales tax upon freight. So for this example, that report was very intricate, and it had sales tax, tax rate, tax code, gross tax margin based off of amount, and it was very detailed. But here you can see that I have this report, and it's going to pull every invoice that is actually using tax. So if I open this up deeper, here it's saying I have 9 invoices with my tax item and tax code SGB. So all of these invoices are using tax. All of my other ones are non-taxable in the system. So that's just a quick example about how you can pull a safe search into your dashboard and create your own reporting and search and utilize it to your dashboard needs. Here, I'm going to keep it as my first one. All right. Something else that I wanted to show is from my tiles. Here I can open up my income statement. And something neat about the income statement here is not only can I view the detail, but I can also I can segment by column. So here, if I put accounting period and refresh, you're going to see that I'm going to have my income statement by accounting period. And even neater, I can do the same thing with my budget versus actual. So let me wait for my tiles to load, show my budget versus actual. And on my column, I can do department. Let's do department first, and then I'll do accounting period. And you'll see here that I'm going to have my budget versus actual for every transaction with no department, with the administration department, in the engineering department, marketing, operations, products, everything here. So you can see here, most of it is tied to no department. So let me go to accounting period. That might be more helpful. Might be a better example here. Here we go. So now we can see in January 2022, we had all of this for our budget versus actual. We had the amount, our budget amount, and amount over or under budget, and percent of the budget. So this is very neat in terms of expanding your reporting and having NetSuite really work with you and make life easier in terms of reporting here. Like I said before, we can also email this, schedule an email, print, and export to Excel, PDF, etc. Get back to the home here. 1 second, I'm going to look at my notes to make sure I'm covering everything. Okay. So lastly, I wanted to review some preferences in chart of accounts. So I know that chart of accounts are Subsidiaries and chart of accounts, I would say, are the backbone of your financial getting started and beginning with NetSuite in terms of your record report and your financials. So of course you need to have your subsidiaries first, because every transaction and every record is linking to your subsidiaries, as I've already showed. And now here are my sample chart of accounts. So I can easily, I access this through the tiles or the navigation for my controller dashboard, and I can come and see all of my chart of accounts. You can see I have my bank accounts here, my credit card accounts, and then I have all of my other types of accounts. Something very important to note here, when you're creating a new account or chart of accounts, keep in mind that the type, this part right here, for bank accounts and for credit cards, it can only be tied to one subsidiary. So you're going to see here, if I open up my cash subsidiary or my cash account, it is only tied to, where's my subsidiary? My parent subsidiary. It cannot include children because NetSuite has best practice securities that bank accounts can't be shared between subsidiaries. It has to be a one-to-one correlation. So here you can see that this is tied to only one, as opposed to another, for example, let's say an accounts receivable account. This one can be tied to parent and include children. This is essentially saying that your US, Australia, UK, South America entities and subsidiaries can all share this same accounts receivable account, but your bank and credit card accounts cannot. So if I were coming in with the role of just United States, I would only be able to see accounts tied to the United States subsidiary, bank accounts at least to the United States. I wouldn't be able to see this checking UK. Okay, so structuring and getting a good idea of your chart of accounts is something that you want to hit early on. NetSuite also has accounts here that are non-posting. So you can see these non-posting accounts, they come already in your NetSuite implementation. If you were to get NetSuite, you would already see these, and they come built into the system. There's a lot of accounts here that are built into the system that act behind the scenes. For example, they're non-posting. So when you have a sales order and you want to look at the general ledger of your sales order, you're going to see that it's posting, and it's going to say non-posting to this sales order account or purchase order account. That's just an example. Here we have our number, and we can easily keep in mind that we can easily import if you have, for example, if you're coming from Sage or QuickBooks and you already have a chart of accounts established, we can import this via CSV. Okay, now let me go back home here, and I want to show some other neat things and preferences to close this out. So for preferences, I can go to navigate over my home, and then instead of dashboard, I'm going to go to set preferences. Here, this is very neat. I always love to have internal IDs turned on. But keep in mind that these preferences are just for you. These are not going to be company-wide. And what I mean by that is if I come in here and change my preferences, that does not mean that someone else in my organization or another NetSuite user is going to see the same thing that I'm seeing. This is just tailored to my name, in this example, for Carol Morgan. And here you can see you can have a nickname, signature, you can change your language, you can change your time zone, you can first day of the week, date formats, just some simple general stuff like that. In this example, I just changed to have my show internal IDs on. And something else I want to show you is the appearance. So for my color theme, right now it's just based to default. But I want to change this, and it's really best practice to change this if you're going to be navigating within multiple roles. Because that way you know that if like I mentioned earlier, I'm a proud Baylor graduate. So I'm going to come here and change my color theme to Baylor. And really quickly, I'm going to show you what this looks like before I finish up. So I'm going to save. And you can see that now the color theme is green and gold. So most of it is going to be green here, but sometimes when you hover and other parts of it are going to be yellow. So that's very neat, because when I switch between roles, and now let's say I need to go to my executive role. Well, this executive role is going to be set to the default color. So, I can, let's say I change this role to red or blue. When I log into NetSuite, I'll be able to know, okay, this one is in red. So I know it's my executive role, and my controller role is going to be in green. Baylor green, so I'll know that I'm in my controller role. And users that navigate within many roles will I understand this scenario where you might log in, and if it's all set to the basic blue default color, you might get confused of what role you're in, and you might just start working assuming that you're in one role and you're actually not. So it's always best practice to set up those preferences here by each role. Additionally, in my appearance, I can change the font. I can make it bigger, smaller. Then there's transactions here. I can print using HTML. I like using PDF. Transaction attachments as PDF. Here, there's analytics that you can review for your preferences. I won't go into every one of them, but you can print print company logo, show reports and grid, kind of like I showed earlier. And let's see, for activities, you can really take control of your calendar and your phone calls and tasks. And let's see, custom preferences, you can put in a save search, but yeah, this is really all that you need to see here for your preferences. And so you'll see that I've custom made mine to include this, to conclude over this brief demonstration about dashboards and financials. You can see that I've added a save search here. You also do have the capability to add a report, even though I didn't do so in this demonstration. You can do your save searches through your reminders, which are very useful and important. And each role is going to have different tiles, dashboards, and portlets. I feel like I could give a better example there. If I go into my AR analyst role, you're going to see that my dashboards and my portlets are going to be different. My tiles, for example, are not going to be those reports earlier. They're going to be AR aging report, AR register, open invoices, customer aging. For my quick shortcuts, I'm going to be able to go into contacts, customers, invoice, payments. I can see my KPIs based off of receivables, new customers, new business. So all of the KPIs and portlets and tiles and shortcuts are going to change based on your role. So that's something that is very neat that NetSuite offers. And so yeah, that concludes my demonstration for the portlets and the dashboards and financials. So let me go back to my presentation here. Change this here. So I've gone through the NetSuite navigation, the dashboard financials. If there are any additional questions here, I'm happy to answer any of them. I didn't see any come in through the chat, but I do have some frequently asked questions here prepared that come up within this topic from other existing clients and any new potential clients. A few of them are, how can users customize dashboards for specific reporting needs? I went over this a little bit in my demonstration, but to answer that, users can easily customize dashboards by adding or removing portlets, rearranging content like I showed, and choosing specific financial KPIs to display within your dashboard. This flexibility ensures that the dashboard aligns with their unique reporting requirements. See, I'll do a couple more FAQs here. What's the deal with real-time data updates on dashboards? For example, when I was in my dashboard, you might have noticed that there was this month versus last month and KPIs using information. And I want to stress here that the answer is that real-time updates on dashboards provide instant visibility into financial metrics, empowering decision makers to respond promptly to changes and maintain better control over the organization's financial health. So short answer, yes. Real-time data is always included within your dashboards. And if you update the page, and sometimes you'll need to update the portlet, it will automatically refresh and the real-time data will show there. Okay, let's see. How does NetSuite handle historical data on dashboards? NetSuite retains historical data, allowing users to access and analyze it through the dashboards. This capability supports trend analysis and historical comparisons. So those are just a couple of FAQs here. If there are any that you might need answered or want to know more information about, please send them to us and I can get back to you via email about any of them. So now I'm going to review the NetSuite Cloud ERP here. Just a little insight about NetSuite. Um, it's obviously a growing and booming system. It was the first cloud company. It is a very global system. There are customers in over 217 countries and territories that are using NetSuite. It's experiencing record growth as it's been growing, especially within these last 5 to 10 years. Um, and there's a lot of customers worldwide, and 36,000 customers worldwide. It seems that in the last 12 months that there has been 4,800, more than 4,800 new logos in the past 12 months. So new companies moving into NetSuite. It's a great system, very customer friendly. And if you have any concerns about, well, my system might be too unique, or my organization and my flows are too unique, I'm apprehensive that NetSuite might be able to take it on and really accommodate to how I like my organization run and what I need to see. I would say that NetSuite has so many different types of customers and companies and all over the world that if it's not native and it can't happen, it can certainly be customized in NetSuite. I'm very comfortable and confident in saying that. And now I'll discuss a little bit about what we do at Concentrus. So you can see here on the right that we have Oracle, NetSuite, and Acumatica. So we actually work within 2 ERP systems here. So if you are new and don't have an ERP system yet, or are looking to move ERP systems, you can come to me or come to my team, and we can tell you about what might be a better fit for your company, whether it's Oracle NetSuite, or whether it's Acumatica, or whether it might be another platform. We're going to be very upfront and honest about if we can help you with these ERP systems, and if not, we'll make sure to let you know that maybe your business would be fit best elsewhere. Concentrus is based in California. We are a comprehensive cloud ERP implementation and customization service provider with a reach that spans across North America. We are a complete NetSuite and Acumatica solutions provider, so we can take you on as a new client and we can get that set up for you for both Oracle, NetSuite, and Acumatica. And we provide implementation, customization, integration, support, and training, and help our clients get sustainable long-term solutions to meet our business needs. If you have any questions more about what Concentrus does, how we might be able to help you, or how we might be able to just answer any questions or guide you along your ERP journey, please let me know. And lastly here, like I said, any additional questions, contact me. Here you have my email. It's andre.tardio@concentrus.com, and my direct phone number as well. I want to thank you guys very much for taking the time today. I really appreciate it. And like I said before, if you have any questions about the Grubhub credit or any further questions about the demo, dashboards, financials, please reach out to me. And have a great Wednesday.